So welcome back, everybody. I'm pretty excited about this episode because this is the start of us finishing out our firewood building here, or our wood shed. We still got to find an official name for it. So what we need to do is strip back all this grass and topsoil from underneath the building, just in case we ever decide to add a concrete slab down the road. I don't plan to do that, but now's the time to remove this material. And the reason being is, if you put dirt and or a concrete slab on top of grass and roots and they rot and decompose down the road, that causes the ground to settle, potentially cracking your slab. So stripping grass and roots is very tough on equipment. I'm using the biggest piece of equipment I have with my box blade. Really, I need something like a skid loader or a skid steer piece of equipment that just has a lot more weight and heft to strip all this off. But this tractor should accomplish the task. We're going to be using my 6-foot box blade here, and here's what's important. So there is a cutting edge on the front side for pulling forward, and there is a cutting edge on the back side. Personally, when stripping grass, I like to use the backside cutting blade and push backwards. That allows me to push up a larger amount of dirt, because when you're going forward, that's kind of more for smoothing and leveling dips, holes, things such as that, because you can only build up so much material inside of this box before you have to stop, lift, and it just makes a mess. Pushing backwards, I can push as much until the tractor just can't push anymore. So if we're going to be stripping grass, we need to have this box blade at the angle that you see that I have it at right now. We can do that by adjusting the top length, but I want it slightly to the rear. So as soon as I put this down, the cutting edge and blade is making contact first and digging into the grass. Then I'll set the height of the box blade from inside the cab. We're just only wanting to strip the top couple of inches off, just getting down into the roots. All right, well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. We show failures on the channel too. It's stripping the dirt up, but this dirt is really packed and those roots are held in good. This is not stripping as easy as the last time that I did this in a different location. So we're gonna change things up. There are ripper teeth on a box blade. This is a good time to use them. They're typically for busting up rocks and hard packed ground, especially driveways, for example. But you can also use them to dig in, rip up the roots in the soil, and then drag forward that way. I think that's going to be a whole lot easier on the tractor. Even with almost 7,000 to 8,000 pounds right here with everything on this tractor, 66 horsepower, I'm still over there spinning, trying to push. So we're going to change the angle of this box blade. We're going to drop these ripper teeth down right here, just an inch or two in the ground, and we're just going to pull material forward. It's going to be a little slower, but once we pull to make a mound, we can turn around and push backwards with this box blade all the way toward the trailer. We can scoop it up, put it in the dump trailer, haul it off to a dump site that I have. You can do a lot of things with a box blade. So let's pull these pins. I'm only going to drop these teeth down one hole. We're not trying to remove a ton of soil here. We're just trying to get some roots out and get this grass out of here. right, here we are next day. Boy, we moved a lot of dirt yesterday, but you can't tell because we stripped out several dump trailer loads of grass and then brought in many more dump trailer loads of this kind of clay and sand mix right here to build up our base. You can see by the tracks, I drove over this for a while yesterday, packing it all in, and I decided for two reasons to leave the slope from here all the way down. Although I did build up the backside, I'm hoping water will fall off back there and kind of run down the backside of the building. We may build up a dam, so to speak, to make sure that happens. But we're going to be directing it toward a room down there, so it's not the ideal layout. I would have had to haul way too much dirt in here to build this side up several inches, about 10 to 11 inches down here to match this corner. We're just not going to worry with that. If water does get under here now, at least it can continue to flow out and go down the property the right way. Plus, we're about to build this up with several inches of asphalt millings. So I stripped this area out and went back and repacked it with some dirt. This is where my little room's going to be going. I need something out here to maybe keep a little small chainsaw, some woodworking tools. We're going to put solar equipment here so we can power the barn. I'll need to keep gas and oil, gloves, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to probably build a little small 4x8 room with some doors that I can open up, and that'll be a nice little space just to store tools. So I had a little hiccup in my asphalt millings, and I have been trying for months and months and months to get millings. You just can't get them down here no more. The road crews now are actually legally required to put a certain amount of ground millings back into new asphalt. I think that's a law. And the big road companies down here, well, they work with all the local contractors and they give them the deals, the contracts on all the excess stuff. So the little guy like me that just wants to buy a few loads, you just can't hardly get it no more. I finally got my hands on some, but oh my goodness, this has been a nightmare. So I got 3 dump trailer loads of asphalt millings brought in off of a local job. That's the other problem. A lot of time you got to find local jobs and know somebody to get it hauled off the job. Well, you can see I've got a mess here. What happened was the guy was not there the day that I worked to deal with to get some off of this local job, and I got brought a bunch of mess. They were having a problem with the grinding machine that day, and it was loading dump trucks. Well, the dump trucks should have never brought this, but here's the thing. Dump trucks didn't know no better. They're just told where to haul and where to dump this, and nobody was overseeing that it was an issue. You still got to haul the bad stuff off the job site too. What I'm looking for is dump trucks full of this material. This pack's really nice and will break down over time. And you can see what I got was big chunks mixed in with good stuff. This is going to be a nightmare to spread. I've been trying to decide what I'm going to do. You either just throw it away, I go put it in a hole somewhere because I can't reload a dump truck, or you try to use it. And it's gonna be a nightmare spreading these big chunks underneath there. I'm probably gonna have to hit some with a sledgehammer, a lot actually. And then I'm just gonna have to live with it being rough. So I think I'm gonna use this instead of throwing it away. I'm still working with a guy trying to get some really clean, good crush stuff. There's just no jobs locally here right now, no jobs to haul off of. And I have no idea when the next one will be. So it's either do this or buy a bunch of rock and put it under there. I might as well use what I have. So if I put this down and it's rough and doesn't look good and I can try to bust some up, maybe eventually whenever the next job's local and they can get me some good crush stuff, I'll do another inch or 2 layer over what I've done here. That'll build it up above the water level anyways, you know, of rain runoff, and then I'll have a nice smooth surface. What an absolute nightmare this is, trying to smooth all this junk. I keep having to get out, pull out bucketfuls like this and do dump elsewhere on the property. But come back here, you can see I am getting somewhere. This stuff will pack out. It's just I'm going to have to go back and get stuff like that out. This is going to be a long work in progress. If I keep pulling stuff out, eventually I can get it to look like something. But it's just, oh, it's a nightmare. All right, friends, 2.5 days later, I'm calling it quits. I feel like I have to save my sanity. So, this is nowhere near where I want it to be, but honestly, I just cannot fight with these asphalt millings anymore. I have been spending the last day and a half digging huge chunks out, hauling it to a hole in the woods, dumping it, and I could spend another day out here just grabbing all of these pieces. I just don't have the fine material like this over here. This is what typically would come nice and crushed, and you can pack this in really firm. But, well, my stuff is not showing up like this. Those piles just have huge chunks in them, and I'm tired of dealing with it. So let's take a look. I have got this pad built up about 4 or 5 inches higher than the ground out there. You can kind of see where it drops off over here. I just left some random chunks. But that's good. That means when the rain falls off the back side of the building, it'll have to come down this side. Although I've got plans for this area, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to redirect water around that, so to speak. Or at least build a slab here that's up so high, water just self-directs around it. Now with all that said, even though this is still looking pretty rough, I got it as best I could get it. This is for sure better than what we had. Nice elevated pad, should stay nice and dry underneath here. I've kind of sloped it down everywhere, so I don't think water's going to be in here unless we just get a heck of a blowing rain. And it's going to be easier to roll around equipment in here, like say the log splitter and some other stuff. I really wanted to go with asphalt millings because once we potentially get a sawmill here, and as we split with the splitter, this stuff should pack firm with time, especially if I get some more. You can blow the sawdust and stuff out of here. Otherwise, I would have just brought rock in here and layered it, even though it's an expensive route. But rock is consistent, at least the way I'm buying it. Problem with the rock is it'll just trap so much sawdust and debris, I don't think I could ever blow it out of here. All right, I don't know how well the camera's picking all this up with the odd lighting and shading in here, but, well, what do you think? We're definitely up elevated out of the water. We've got all the grass stuff stripped out from underneath here, so if in the future I ever wanted to put a concrete pad in here, honestly, we could probably use this base right here and just put a slab on top of it to be the smart thing to do. But we're starting to elevate too much at that point. I personally have no intentions to put a concrete slab in here, but we're more prepared now to do that should we ever want to. What I am desperately wanting is my asphalt millings guy to call me back. I've been waiting weeks. He's just not got any jobs locally, and I want some finely crushed millings. Then I'm gonna come in here and put about 1 more inch layer over all this, fill in some of the dips that I have, and then you won't see these rocks. That'll pack nice and firm. That's what I'm hoping is gonna happen. But I'm just waiting. I've still yet to get a call, and I'm wanting like 10 truckloads of asphalt millings because I want to do our driveway in it. I don't think it's gonna happen. All right, so one last look and then we're gonna wrap this up. So now we have a nice elevated bed in here that's relatively firm, should stay nice and dry, and give us a good working base right here. We'll get it straightened up more in the future when we get our hands on some good material. All right, I wanted to hurry up and rush and get this done because coming in one of the future episodes, we start work on our little equipment room over here. We're gonna have our solar in there. I'm needing power and lights and other stuff out here. Plus I have something relatively exciting that's gonna tie in with the solar. It's probably gonna be a little controversial, but I think some of you are gonna love it. It's gonna be a helping hand out here, at least for a while I'm working underneath the barn. But I really need power. We need security out here. We need lights. We need all kinds of stuff. So I've got to get on that room ASAP. That's gonna be a fun little build right there. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.